Aubrey, if you'd like to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Sure, you bet. So my question is, in getting started, what was your estimated overhead costs?
Yeah, so my situation is a little bit unique and very fortunate. So I am farming on my family's land. So a lot of my overhead cost factors are going to be less than someone that is starting from scratch on a new piece of land that either they bought or they lease. So we already had access to water through an irrigation ditch that goes through our property. My highest costs to start out were a deer fence. It was about $4,000 to have it installed and put up around our property. But we have a lot of deer pressure, so I really wanted to prioritize that because you don't want to, work so hard to put all the flowers into the ground and have them munched over in the course of a night. So that was really high priority for me. And then the cooler was also one of the bigger ticket items. I think we spent maybe a little over $1,000 putting that together, and that can vary widely. We used a room in our basement that was unoccupied. It's my brother's old room. Sorry, he can never move home. So we, built the cooler out of that. But you can get shipping containers. You can really build a cooler out of a lot of a variety of sizes and materials are available. So those are probably my two biggest costs. And then bulbs, seeds, tubers, and compost are all going to be, annual costs that incur with the farm. But starting out, the most affordable way to kind of get those flowers going is to go for annual seeds. Those are super inexpensive. A lot of them are quite low maintenance plants too, so they're great to start with. For example, I would say cosmos, zinnias, rudbeckia, things like that are highly rewarding with their stem count and easy to grow and cheap to buy.
Great. Yeah, I think we are gonna move into the next section, but we'll do another Q&A. So if you entered questions that didn't get answered yet, they will get answered in the next Q&A session. Yeah, but Beth, next, do you want to share a little bit about, I know you've talked about some of these things already, but a little bit about the resources that you've really found useful, and then a little bit about developing that farmer friend network that you find important.
Yeah, it's so cool to see other farmer friends here. Yay! So some of the resources that were really important for me getting started were the internet. This is the age that we live in. There's tons of information out there. A lot of it is free, some of it is not, but there's so much out there to learn from. I would say what I wish that I had done, and it's so cool to see interns here too, is if you can spend time on a farm, on an established farm that's doing what you want to be doing. That's something that I wish that I had the opportunity to do, that I had prioritized doing. I just kind of drove in for better or worse to my farm. But if you can try to go and learn from a farmer, I feel like hands-on is really a great way to take in that info. But some other resources, there is a free mini cut flower farming course going on right now on Floret Farms website, and Mary will send you links to all of this afterwards. So that's a great little free course that's going on. And then I took her more extensive 6-week course, which is how I got a ton of my information and startup through that. So she's offering that in the winter. So I think the sign up will be in the fall, but it's a little bit of a chunk of change, but it really kind of shaved, I think, years and tears off of my flower farm for sure. So I would highly recommend that if you can. There is an organization called, the Association of Specialty Cut Flower Growers. So there's tons of forum information on there. They also do a quarterly publication that's full of info, and there's a directory of farmers on there too. There's a yearly membership associated with that, but that's a great place to get started. Lots of good books out there. And then also get connected with CFAC, or an organization that's similar to them in your area. There's lots of different programs, and I'm sure that Mary and Dave and Ian can help direct us to other programs that are similar to CFAC. But if you're in the Montana area, get connected to CFAC. It's actually Tracy from County Rail who's here today, who told me about CFAC when I first was starting the farm venture, and that's how I learned about their Pitch Best, which got me a Kiva loan, which helped with my startup costs for my farm. So get connected. There's so many resources out there. They have beginning farmer workshops that I took this winter that were super helpful for financial things, all kinds of good stuff. So get connected if you can. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about building your farmer friend network. This has been huge for me. Farming can feel a little bit solitary when you're out there on your own, but there are so many incredible farmers in Montana and all over the place, no matter where you're located. So start making those connections now. They will also shave years and tears off of your farming venture for sure. And from my experience, farmers are awesome. They kick ass, and they are happy to, my experience has been overwhelmingly positive. Whenever I've reached out to a farmer to ask a question, they are more than happy to share their wisdom, to share their hard-won knowledge, because I think farmers want other farmers to succeed and to build their farms and just have more farms around. So there's a wealth of knowledge out there through other farmers. So connect with farmers in your area, see if you can come out, check it out, lend a hand, learn. So build that network. And I would say, just remember also that farming is really hard, and folks that have years of experience doing this can really help. I had a hailstorm last June, and it was a fellow farmer that I reached out to first. I was like, "Ooh, is my farm over? Is it dead? Is it gone?" After this huge hailstorm blew through, and she was able to kind of talk me down, let me know that things were going to be okay. So yeah, start connecting with folks and just get comfortable with asking questions. You may feel a little isolated as you're new and you're worried about not knowing your stuff, but we all start somewhere. There's always going to be more that you can learn. I think that's what I love about farming so much, is that you're always learning. It's always changing. Our climate is changing a ton. Techniques are changing. There's new plants, new seeds every year. So there's always going to be more to learn. So just really dig in, get connected with folks. Yeah, I think that's all I had to touch on.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Beth. Great. Well, I think we'll open it up to questions. Yeah, I think Sarah is going to lead the way there. And if you can put your name in the chat and for your questions, and we'll get them answered.
There was one from the Mill Creek interns from earlier, if they want to ask that now.
Hi, this is for Bess. Just wondering if you now farm full time, or if you still have some other part-time jobs to get by.
Yeah, great question. I am still a part-time farmer. So I work for a tech company about 20 hours a week during the hottest part of the day. So it was great that I could kind of structure my schedule that way. So I'm farming in the morning and in the evening, and then I'm typing away on my computer for the middle of the day. And I think that's a great viable option if you're starting small, if you kind of need a side hustle to get your farm going. There's tons of remote jobs out there as everything moves online more and more. So it might be a good option too. So I hope to make farming my full-time venture one day, but I think it'll probably be a few years until that happens. But yeah, it's totally doable. It's all about finding your own balance and what works for you. Remote works for me really well because I can be here on the property where the farm is. So I'm not commuting a long way to kind of make them both work. So that's kind of how I keep my work-life balance there.